Let's continue to talk about this. My colleague Leland Vittert, host of On Balance, here in studio with us this morning. So, indictment inevitable at this point? Trump seems to think so.
He seems to think and say a lot. Who knows? Probably the only person who does know is Alvin Bragg. It'd be very interesting to be in a situation where Trump has put sort of so much pressure and so much of a spotlight on this that it becomes inevitable, that Bragg feels that if he doesn't indict Donald Trump, then somehow he's caved to the pressure, if you will. Two things can be true at once, right? This can entirely be political. And there's also a chance that if you stretch the statutes and link them together in enough different ways, you eventually come up with some prosecutable misdemeanor. The old saying goes, a prosecutor can indict a ham sandwich. The choice whether to indict a ham sandwich, or in this case, the former president of the United States, comes down to a political one.
Right. And if you do indict him and there is no evidence of a crime, Trump wins here.
Right. And Trump may win either way politically. In the short term, because he never does better than when he's fighting against something. And look, going after Donald Trump with investigations has started since before the 2016 election, right? You had the whole Russia collusion investigation with the FBI going through Crossfire Hurricane. Then you had all the leaks during the transition, 2016 to 2017. You had the Mueller investigation, impeachment 1, impeachment 2. The list goes on and on. So when Trump has something specific to fight against, he does well. And you've got all these Republicans, including his likely chief rival in the GOP primary and his former vice president, who's already attacked him, both now defending him. This is great politically.
No, I mean, coming out this morning, DeSantis's comments, he did not mince words. Do you expect others to come out in his defense? What's the risk-benefit in those doing so? Nikki Haley, for example, and others.
If Nikki Haley says something or doesn't say something, does it matter? Really? I mean, there's not a lot of people who are sitting on the edge of their seat in the Republican. Well, it's just true. Look at where she is in the polls. Look at what she said. She doesn't rise to the level of a headliner Republican. The big person over the weekend who we waited for was Ron DeSantis, and he didn't say anything. I think that press conference was this morning.
Yeah, an hour ago.
So there you go. That was the big name. I think what Mike Pence said over the weekend was really significant. But what you're seeing is Alvin Bragg managing to coalesce the Republican Party around Donald Trump, which is taking some work.
He's a Democrat, Alvin Bragg, the DA in New York. This is not the first lawsuit he's tried to bring against the former president. What else do we know about him?
There was the other investigations into the Trump Organization and on and on and on. We know he's been very soft on crime. We know when he came into office, he said there was a whole slew of crimes he either wasn't going to prosecute or wasn't going to ask for jail time. We know that Eric Adams has not been happy with him. We know a lot of the really high-profile crimes in New York that have been committed and caught on videotape. Oftentimes it was perpetrators let out by Alvin Bragg's policies. So again, every prosecution is a political decision, either to prosecute or not to prosecute. And this is very clearly Alvin Bragg making those choices.
He must believe he has enough to get a conviction if he's going to go down this road. But the question is, and a lot of critics say, this is the weakest of all the allegations against the former president. You've got the situation in Georgia with election fraud allegations, the classified documents in Florida. So why this case? Why New York and this DA?
We've never had a situation before of a local district attorney investigating a former president of the United States. The two times that there have been real investigations into former presidents, Richard Nixon with Watergate, and then Bill Clinton because of Monica Lewinsky when he was a sitting president, and obviously Nixon during his time as president before he resigned. Both times, the Department of Justice went to extreme lengths to show deference to the office of the presidency, or the former president in the case of Nixon before he was pardoned. That's clearly not happening when you have a local DA do this, and I think it goes back, you make a great point. In America, typically, we have see a crime, find the person who committed the crime. Lavrentiy Beria, the head of the Soviet secret police, the founder of the secret police, had a different saying. He said, show me the man and I'll show you the crime. Once you start using the political machine of a district attorney in a very democratic area to find a crime, essentially, which is what's happened here with Donald Trump, of a man who's the former president of the United States, you look a lot more like how justice was done in the former Soviet Union against political enemies than how historically it's been done in America.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.